New, 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 new. That's like the sound from the video game.
That's the new song?
Well, from the Vectrex game. It's like
yeah, I remember that.
New, 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 new. They weren't really into music effects then.
Okay.
All right, but we got all the new parts.
What do you got?
Okay, all sorts of stuff. What's first? This cable. This cable is pretty great. Hold on, let me find the other side of the cable.
All right, she's gone.
No, that's weird. It's missing. Oh wait, no, it's here. It's just small.
I got a ton of photos. All
right, let's start over.
Yeah, we're here. What do you got?
This cable is pretty exciting.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the overhead.
We've had these LiPo batteries for a very long time. Everyone's like, oh, we like these LiPo batteries, and they've got these JST PH connectors, and like they plug into our feathers, and they plug into like a microbit. You know, you're like, oh, I'm powering stuff now. Look at me. Wow, this is great.
Look at me.
Powering stuff. But people are like, well, I want to connect something to these batteries, and I've always said, well, there's only connectors you can get on a circuit board. They don't make, JST doesn't make free hanging wire cable versions. And then we found a company that does. It's not JST official, but it matches perfectly. Boom, even has the right color matching, and now you can have a free wired battery connection to these JST 2PH batteries. This is super great. We've got these batteries, we have a AAA battery pack in this, we've got lots of LiPos. Other stuff uses them, but these are nice and solid, and they have this like nice connector where these plug in, they're free hanging, and this just plugs in. It's solid, so you can tug on it, and then when you really yank, that's when it comes out. But you're not gonna, it's not gonna damage your connectors or anything. You get one cable, it's like 6-8 inches long, really handy, and we have the matching cable if you want just the cable, not the battery part. But personally, we think this is a great match for our batteries. JST 2PH cable.
Next up.
This is an active PoE splitter. This is really handy for people who have Ethernet-powered IoT projects, and if you have access to a PoE hub. So Power over Ethernet, it provides 48 volts on the unused wires of Ethernet, so you can use it with 10 megabit or 100 megabit, not with 1 gigabit. And this is isolated. It gives you 5 volts at 2.4 amps, so it's perfect for Raspberry Pis, Feathers, Arduinos with Ethernet shields. I can show this off here. Ooh, this is pretty chunky because I got this PoE hub. The secret is that you need to get a PoE hub.
Maybe I'll use the side camera for this.
Yeah.
I have a side camera. You want a side camera?
All right, so you have to get a hub that has PoE in it. Maybe go to your record. It's actually kind of small text. PoE port. You have to make sure it has proper PoE. This is for active PoE. So this is a hub that I got from, it's a TP-Link hub. Low cost, has 4 PoE hubs. PoE. And then you plug in your Ethernet and just the Ethernet part. And on the other end, you plug in this PoE splitter.
That's handy.
And then it will give you 2 ports, plugs out. You'll get the Ethernet with that data, and then you'll get a 5-volt MicroUSB connector. Very handy. So you just plug it right in, and it powers it up to 2.5 amps. It's a lot of power. It's not too expensive. It's a very easy way to add PoE for something that doesn't have PoE built in. Yeah. And honestly, PoE usually isn't built in because basically you're putting this on. It's big, it's chunky, it's expensive. So having this as a separate item is kind of nice. So you can add it.
Make all your internet connected things power over.
Basically, it's
Ethernet without the bulk.
And almost everything has a 5-volt microUSB power these days. So this is a very simple, all-in-one way to do it. So this is the Power over Ethernet splitter.
Okay.
It's PoE hub. The trick is to get a proper PoE hub.
So these come in 3 different colors. So
they're basically the same.
I put all 3 here.
Yeah, this is actually a suggestion from a customer. These are micro test points.
Yeah. These are handy, and we have like in use too.
Yeah, so I'm showing them why they're useful, and the person who emailed us was like, "Here's what I use them for," and I'm like, "That's pretty useful." So if you get a Breakout board or a dev board, they have 0.1-inch headers, and you usually have to solder them in. But there's once in a while there's a time when you need to connect to a sensor or something. You don't want to solder to it permanently. You want to like clip onto it somehow. So these, you can also solder these, of course, but because they're metal. But they come in 100 packs, and they're so small. Maybe I'll try to zoom in on one. So they have these little loops here that you can clip onto, and then on this part they have a little bent, sort of like a tweezer.
Yeah, so they go in, thing. They hold themselves there.
Yeah, so they snap in. So this is like, we just grabbed like a random board. So what you can do is they're a little annoying to remove.
Well, you don't want them to fall out.
You don't. So let me actually just hook on, and I'll use that to remove it. So you can yank them out, but they snap in, and they're pretty solid. I mean, like, this isn't gonna go anywhere. And what's nice is that the plastic, it's a little plastic divider, so it sits nice and flat.
Otherwise they'll touch each other. You don't want that to happen.
They don't touch each other. We have 3 colors. If people really like these, we'll get more colors. And they're 0.1 inch diameter, so like they perfectly line up.
Yeah, and it's really cool that it's red, black, and white. That's it. We'll get maybe more colors, but that's, those are pretty useful right there.
Yeah, and I've just got these Pomono mini grabbers. You don't have to use Pomono brand. You can use whatever.
Yeah.
You lock them on, and boom. It's non-permanent. When you're done, you just remove them, but it's good enough for prototyping and just like checking connectivity. And they're 100 per pack, so they're like a penny or 2 each. So when you're done, just toss them, basically. Yeah. So they're 10 cents each. But when you're done, just toss them out, and or you can try to recycle them. But eventually, I think this springiness will
we'll probably get more colors. Thanks. By the way, when people send us suggestions and ideas of things that are useful, we do it.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, they're like, oh, we buy these from Keystone, but they're expensive. Can you sell them in multi-packs? I was like, that's a good idea. Yep. So yeah, this is very handy.
Okay. Next up.
Thanks, person.
So this is good for all year, but back to school is going to be coming up in September, and all the cool kids have
lunchboxes.
So this is like limited edition. We're not going to do this forever, but
we use these for our advanced kits. These are really, really cool looking. It's beautiful blue color. It's bent metal, and it's got a latch. It's got a handle. It's got this really cool like patenty AdaBot diagram on it.
Let's go to the overhead.
Let's go to the overhead.
So I use this to carry my projects to and fro, and also lunch.
So it's nice and shiny. It's got like the metal out highlights, and it's also
in workshops. Good to pick up a few, put some stuff in there.
Yeah, great for electronics. I mean, it's ESD.
Yeah.
All right, it's metal. Open it up. You can put anything you like in there. We use these for some of our packs, of course, but you can get them now. You can just get it without. Just get it alone.
Yeah, there you go.
And then,
what does the text say on it? It says something. What's the text say?
It says AdaBot, Adafruit Discovery Advancement Bot.
That's right.
And some Adafruit action here. Some more diagrams of AdaBot. And that's it. It's a really nice blue color. This is I think you picked this blue color. It's like patent. It's what's not patent blue. It's carbon copy blue.
Yeah.
So it's a mimeograph blue.
Like a blueprint-like thing. Okay.
Yeah, blueprint.
All right.
All right. So we've got LunchBox.
Okay. Put all those new products in that. All right. Next up, Lady Ada. What is this thing?
This is super cool. We actually ordered these a while ago, and they finally came in. These are the Black Magic probes. So this is a special SWD JTAG debugger that is a little different than most. Unlike most where you would run OpenOCD and then use this as a hardware interface, it actually runs like the debugger service inside of it. And so when you open up GDB, you connect directly to the COM port on here, and you can use it for debugging. So you don't have to deal with like OpenOCD startup, and I think it probably is a little bit faster. It supports everything that you would want to do with your Cortex ARM microcontroller, but it's kind of a more advanced debugger. It also has a free USB to serial converter on the bottom. It has that extra cable, which I can show off.
Yeah, let's go to the overhead.
Okay. So all right. So this is the Black Magic. So You got your standard 10-pin SWD JTAG controller here. This is the chip. It's all open source hardware and software completely. Got LEDs and indicators, protection level shifting, and all that good stuff. And on the bottom, yeah, you have this cool add-on with power ground RxTX. So you can connect this, and then while you're debugging, you can also get USB serial output, which is really common. A lot of times there's like debug or console information. So you just plug this into your headers to get that. And then it also comes with, your standard SWD cable. You plug it in here, and then this goes into your target. It supports like some of the most popular chips. It doesn't support everything, I will say. And unlike OpenOCD, it has to have the support because it's implementing the debugging service inside of it. It has to support the chip natively. So it supports like STM32, pretty much all of them, Nordic NRF51, 52, LPC11s, and some other LPC chips from NXP. ARM, Atmel, it supports SAMD20, SAMD21, SAM3 and SAM4 series. See what else? TI, it supports a couple chips. Freescale, a couple chips. I don't know the part numbers. It's all in the product page. Raspberry Pi 2, it supports as well if you want to debug and program that chip directly, the Broadcom chip. It's a really cool, different approach. Like there's a lot of low-cost OpenOCD dongle adapters, but what I like is that OpenOCD isn't even involved here. And not that I don't like OpenOCD, it's wonderful, it's great software, but taking that out of your debugging equation and going GDB straight to hardware is pretty nice. So a nice addition if you have a J-Link, something like this is also super handy. And because it's open source, you can expect more chips will be supported by it. And if you'd like to add support, you can submit a pull request with the register map of your favorite chip and update that as well. So nice work from Blackmagic and 1-Bit Squared. They made a really cool hardware dongle. Everyone in-house that does ARM development picked one up immediately, like, that's so cool! And they're going to be using it for debugging their ARM Cortex chips.
Okay, next up.
A big display. This is actually a really, really old product that I just never quite got in the store, but I finally got in the store. It's a 3.2-inch resistive touch screen. We've had the 2.8-inch, it's very popular. This one is just 3.2 inch, it's just much bigger. It has a resistive touch screen, as you can see. You can use your fingernail or stylus to draw on it. You can use an 8-bit SPI mode, 8-bit mode or SPI mode. On this side is 8-bit, so you can use D0 through D7. The resistive touch is 4 pins, backlight control, and then it's got a 8080 or 6800 control lines for, chip select, write, latch, read, latch, reset, and command data. I tend to prefer the SPI port. So over on this side, there is S-Clock, MISO, MOSI, chip select, data control. Because it's using SPI, I also tossed on a MicroSD card. So for example, this example is just using a Atmega 328, and it's upside down. It just draws slowly but surely a picture of some flowers. 16-bit color. It's a nice little display. It's just a bigger version of the display we already have. So we've got example code already for Arduino and CircuitPython, and this is the ILI 9341 chipset. It's kind of supported by everything and anything. So it's a solid large display. This is the largest 320 by 240 display we carry. But if you want a big picture display with color, this is a really nice TFT.
Next up.
Encoder. You can see it spinning here.
It's spinning.
Encoder. So we carry these TT motors. I like these motors. They're wonderful. They're really low cost. They're only a couple dollars. And the reason they're so inexpensive is they don't have any encoding or feedback built into them. So you might be wondering, what if I do want to add encoder or feedback? Well, here you go. You've got these little encoder wheels. So this is a little injection molded plastic piece that snaps on. It has, actually I've never counted them. I think it's about 32 slots in it. Perfect for optical encoding. Not magnetic, it's plastic. You put it on the back of the motor. There's the axle of the motor goes through. So this side has the wheel, and then on this side you have the encoder. You use a opto encoder. Sorry, the photo interrupter.
You can get position. You can do little robot projects that are very smart.
Yes, you can do much more intelligent robot projects. You'll know where you're going, so you slowly speed up and then count the encoding. It doesn't tell you which direction you're going because it only has one set of slots, but it can tell you how fast you're going and how how far you've gone. So for precision projects, these are only a couple. Like this is like $1 for 2 of them. Then you have to add the photo interrupter, but there's a lot of example code out there for how to do that. And then you can add precision motion to your robotics project for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are little encoders. I like these because they're injection molded. They're nice and strong, but low cost, and they just snap on. And we purposefully got the motors that have the through axle, the double axle on purpose, so that you could do this and have the encoder on one end while the motor's spinning the wheel on the other.
Smart.
Encoder.
Okay. Next up, to start the show tonight, besides you, Lady Ada, in our community, all the Adafruit team members, are these nails. Yay!
These are super cyberpunk. These are, well, they're basically very small RFID NFC stickers. They don't have a chip in them, but they have a coil and a couple of transistors and an LED. And they basically take that energy that is emitted from an RFID or NFC reader, contactless payment, those, you know, when you go on the bus or a train where you put your card, or when you go to the store and where you put your RFID credit card, your phone. This is a example of a Android phone which has an RFID NFC reader in it.
Yeah, you don't own a cell phone at all, which is interesting.
So I had to get my
So you
RFID.
had to make something. Yeah.
Well, we have this shield.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get these thin stickers, and they're so thin that you can, of course, paint over them. Hold on, let me zoom in.
Okay.
So you can see the coil, a little transistor over there, and then two. I mean, they're so small. These are like 402 parts or 201 parts. A little LED, and then when they get into the range of reading, they light up white.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this is a kind of a
You know,
cool
all sorts of fun stuff with this.
cyberpunk effect. No battery required. You just have to have
and that's why
the coil nearby.
this is kind of the probably most known project. You have these on your
Yeah, so if you have them, then while you're using your phone, if you have the NFC app running in the background, you can just download one for Android. It'll flash your nails. I'll note that Apple doesn't really have RFID reading. When they do, they don't pulse it as much. So be sure to get, you know, it works best with an Android phone or with contactless payment. You don't have to use them for nails. I think, you know, they're kind of designed for nails. That's what they're meant for. But you can use them for any kind of decoration where you want to use a coil to light up a small LED without battery. So it could be used for jewelry projects, just a kind of a neat coil to LED converter. You can also stick them on the back of the phone. They'll just like, you know, flash when you turn on the app.
All right, and with that, Lady Ada is new progress.
Yay! Recap time.